From strange creatures lurking in the shadows of the ancient forest to phenomena that defy the boundaries of modern scientific understanding, Congo increasingly emerges as a labyrinth of mysteries, a place where the line between reality and legend grows thin, drawing in and haunting the imagination of the entire world. For that very reason, we invite you to join us on a journey to uncover the most shocking discoveries in Congo. Stories so astounding they have left humanity stunned and shivering before a land that still holds far too many secrets beyond explanation. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can be part of our notification squad. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, a vast country located at the center of the African continent, has long been famous not only for its magnificent primeval forests, but also for the countless mysteries that have enveloped its history through the ages. Congo holds within it an untold wealth of precious minerals like gold. And this very treasure trove has given rise to countless legends about forgotten cities of gold. But that is not all. Congo is also home to a multitude of strange creatures and legends about monsters that have never been verified by science. In addition, there are undeciphered fossil traces, mysterious natural phenomena, and unexplainable sounds that echo through the darkness of night, all of which contribute to the enigmatic portrait of this land. Even as the era of modern technology has brought advanced survey tools such as drones and remote sensors, to this day, most of Congo's territory remains a land of secrets filled with countless unanswered questions that defy every effort at exploration by humankind. The mystery of Mamba Mutu. Beneath the surface of Lake Tanganyika, the second deepest freshwater lake in the world, a mystery has quietly persisted for thousands of years. This lake has given rise to an ancient legend that has captivated local people for generations and drawn the attention of researchers from around the globe. At the heart of this legend is Mamba Mutu, a mysterious creature resembling a mermaid that is said to dwell in the distant waters of the lake. Mamba Mutu is described as having the upper body of a human and the lower body of a fish, evoking both astonishment and skepticism. The name Mamba Mutu means water person in many local languages, underscoring how deeply this legend is connected to human-like characteristics. According to eyewitness accounts, Mamba Mutu has human-like arms and eyes. The lower half of its body is covered in scales and ends in a powerful tail capable of agile movement through the water. Its skin is said to shimmer in the sunlight whenever it surfaces, even if only for a brief moment. What makes the legend of Mamba Mutu especially intriguing is the remarkable consistency among the sightings. These reports often come from people who have spent their entire lives along the shores of Lake Tanganyika. Their descriptions are not only consistent in terms of the creature's physical features, but also in its behavior. Mamba Mutu is typically described as cautious, avoiding prolonged contact with humans and appearing only briefly before disappearing beneath the surface. A famous case occurred in the early 20th century when Belgian officer William Hitchens described witnessing a mermaid-like creature while out on a boat in the middle of Lake Tanganyika. Hitchens noted that the face and upper body were human while the lower body was that of a fish. As a trained observer, his account carried particular weight and quickly propelled Mambutu into the spotlight of widespread debate. Hitchens' written report sparked significant interest in the mysteries of these deep inland waters. The story has only grown richer thanks to local folklore and the art of communities living along the lake for centuries. In their carvings, the image of a creature resembling Mamba appears repeatedly. These figures match exactly the descriptions passed down by eyewitnesses from generation to generation. The continued presence of Mamba Mutu in the region's cultural heritage shows that this is not merely a recent legend, but a deeply rooted part of the local spiritual tradition. Lake Tanganyika itself is an ideal setting for a mysterious creature to hide. Its great depth and intricate system of underwater caves provide natural shelter for many as yet undiscovered species. This only adds plausibility to the idea that a water monster like Mamba Mutu could exist here unnoticed by science. In fact, Lake Tangana has repeatedly astonished researchers with the discovery of entirely new species of fish and invertebrates. This demonstrates that many secrets still lie hidden beneath the depths where Mamba Mutu is said to dwell. From a cultural perspective, the discovery of Mamba would validate the age-old beliefs of communities that have lived alongside the lake for centuries. It would also highlight the importance of combining traditional knowledge with modern science and recognizing the unique value that indigenous communities can contribute to humanity. For too long, stories like these have been dismissed as superstition instead of being taken seriously for research. The Ituri Pygmies. Deep within the Ituri rainforest of Congo, exists a unique community about whom the modern world still knows very little. The Ituri Pygmies, also known as the Moody people. This is a tribe with an exceptionally short average height. Rarely does anyone exceed 1.5 m, and they have lived in isolation among the ancient forests for thousands of years. As master hunters and gatherers, the Ituri people possess remarkable survival skills in the heart of the African jungle. They have developed unique hunting techniques such as hunting elephants with handmade spears and nets, as well as the ability to accurately identify edible plants. However, the true mysteries of this tribe lie in the mystical knowledge that locals believe they possess. Legend has it that the Ituri have the ability to communicate with the spirits of the forest, enabling them to foresee hidden dangers or discover plentiful sources of food. People from neighboring tribes have long believed that the Ituri can read mysterious messages from nature, through the sounds of the trees, or even the whispers of the wind passing through the forest canopy. One of the most enigmatic aspects is the Malamo festival of the Ituri people, a ritual intended to awaken the spirit of the forest when the community faces hardship or when nature falls out of balance. The ceremony is performed in secret, deep in the darkness of the jungle, where ancient songs are sung, accompanied by the haunting sound of a special long wooden horn passed down through generations. No one outside the tribe is allowed to attend, adding even more mystery to the sacred knowledge they hold. Western anthropologists have made repeated efforts to learn more about the secrets of the Ituri, but most have only returned with scattered notes. To this day, the true origins of their mystical knowledge remain unanswered, making the Ituri Pygmy tribe more mysterious and fascinating than ever. The Congo wildman. Amidst the endless forests blanketing the Congo, there exists a wealth of thrilling legends about mysterious creatures never yet recognized by science. Among them, the tale of the wild man known as Congo stands out as one of the strangest and most captivating. For generations, people living near the deep forests have passed down the story of Congo, a mysterious being with a human-like form, but covered in thick black fur. The one detail that every Congo story emphasizes is its extraordinary agility, which has kept it beyond the reach of anyone trying to approach or capture it. Descriptions from local tribes add that Congo possesses a unique ability to communicate with the forest animals. It is said that when Congo appears, all creatures from timid antelopes to massive elephants fall eerily silent, as though they are listening to commands from a higher power. Local hunters have witnessed Congo leading troops of wild monkeys with a strange howl. In 1967, a Belgian expedition deep in the eastern Congo rainforest had a bizarre encounter with this creature. According to surviving notes, the team caught glimpses of a shadowy figure moving swiftly among ancient tree trunks. First, they assumed it was a member of a local tribe, but as they drew closer, they were startled to see a large figure completely covered in dense fur. However, Just as the explorers managed to reach for their cameras, Congo vanished into the forest darkness. No one knows the exact origins or true nature of Congo. Some researchers speculate it could be a previously unknown species of great ape, a kind of wild man that has lived in isolation from humanity for thousands of years. Others believe Congo is a mystical being, appearing only when nature's balance is disturbed, or when an important warning needs to be delivered to mankind. Although no scientific evidence has ever been confirmed, the legend of the Congo wild man continues to fascinate and intrigue lovers of mystery. Perhaps somewhere beneath the thick canopy of the Congo, Congo is still silently watching humanity from the shadows, waiting for the day its full story will finally be revealed. Forbidden forests and the legends of dark magic. Hidden deep within the most remote and wild regions of the Congo rainforest are special areas that even the local people dare not approach. These are called forbidden forests, sacred territories that are both revered and deeply feared. According to stories passed down by the tribes living near the forest, these forbidden areas are said to be inhabited by powerful spirits, often ancestral spirits or ancient entities. Locals believe that once you set foot in a forbidden forest without permission, you may awaken unseen forces. Those who carelessly violate these taboos often vanish mysteriously or return in a state of complete madness. One of the most famous forbidden forests is found near the Kasai River Valley, where chilling tales of black magic and ancient sacrificial rituals are still whispered with fear. Local people believe that sorcerers from long ago used this place to perform mystical ceremonies, leaving even the trees themselves touched by enchantment. In 1964, a group of Belgian hunters accidentally ventured into one such forbidden forest. According to surviving records, they witnessed a bizarre midnight ceremony where native sorcerers with faces painted white carried out a sacrificial rite. Terrified, the hunters fled the area immediately. But in the days that followed, each of them mysteriously disappeared without a trace. The local villagers insisted this was the consequence of violating the taboo. To this day, researchers and anthropologists remain captivated by Congo's forbidden forests. Some believe that hidden truths may lie behind these legends, truths that modern people are not yet able to understand. Others suggest that such stories were simply invented to protect the peace of nature from human intrusion. Makolmome. The name of this creature when translated means the one who blocks the flow of rivers. It is an enigmatic animal that has appeared in countless stories told by the people living in the Congo River basin. Those who have had the most contact and are said to have encountered it on many occasions. Mole-Mbe is often described as a half-dinosaur, half-elephant beast believed to inhabit Lake Tellel near the Congo River. Some researchers have even cited its legend as evidence that small populations of dinosaurs may still survive in remote uncharted corners of our planet. The creature is said to be about the size of an elephant with smooth brownish-gray skin, a long flexible neck, and a tail as strong and powerful as a crocodile's. However, most of the local people who claim to have seen it insist that it resembles a miniature long-necked dinosaur, specifically a member of the sauropod group, the massive herbivorous dinosaurs with long necks that once roamed the earth during the Mesozoic era. Sauropods had small heads, long necks, enormous bodies, and thick pillar-like legs, with their most distinctive feature being those towering necks, which allowed them to reach high into the treetops to feed on leaves. What has made Makolmbe most famous are the enormous footprints it leaves behind. 3 toed tracks pressed deep into the earth, scattered throughout the swampy jungles of Africa. Locals regard these footprints as undeniable proof of the creature's existence. For the past 3 centuries, both pygmy tribes and Western explorers have described encounters with Makolmbe. They recount that it feeds on the nut-like fruit of riverbank plants and keeps to deep pools, underwater caves, and the uncharted regions of the forest. A recent expedition revealed that these tales have been passed down for generations, and that the local people truly believe this creature is real, not a mere legend. One of the researchers on that team suggested that Machila mbmb could be a type of dinosaur similar to the Brontosaurus, a species modern science claims went extinct over 70 million years ago. This same researcher had ventured deep into the central swamps of the Congo, the region believed to be the animal's stronghold. Remarkably, he returned with the photograph of a footprint that many believe belongs to Molay Mebe, the forbidden swamp region, located in the heart of the Congo, covers an area of roughly 4,900 square miles, about the size of New York City. Local people told missionaries where the long-necked dinosaur could be found after being shown pictures of various animals. Strikingly, when shown a photograph of a sauropod dinosaur, the locals said the image was an exact match for the mysterious creature they had known about all their lives, even though they had no prior knowledge of saurids until the missionaries explained. This dinosaur-like animal is believed to feast on the fruits and vegetables of the jungle. One notable detail is that it does not get along with hippos, and several tribe members have witnessed fierce battles between the two species. In 1999, the Sunday Times of London reported that people from the Kabanga tribe had managed to hunt down one of these creatures using only rudimentary hunting tools. In the fall of 1981, Herman Registers led an expedition to Lake Tellel, and was said to have returned with items believed to belong to the ancient animal, including footprint casts, droppings, and even a mysterious sound that could not be attributed to any local wildlife. Reports of Moelmbe date all the way back to the 18th century, and since 1980, more than 25 expedition teams have searched for the elusive creature. In 2018, another team, this one including DNA experts, set out to look for clues. While they failed to find concrete evidence of Moelmbe, they did interestingly discover a new species of algae. Tracking down eyewitnesses and evidence for this creature has been incredibly difficult. The indigenous tribe reporting the creature in the Congo has actively hunted mock Mebe, even saying they wanted to wipe it out from the area, due to growing fears of its aggression. Further details about the animal have yet to be made public, and the only truly reliable source of information remains the evidence and fieldwork of Dr. Roy McCall, who described the creature in his 1987 book, A Living Dinosaur: The Mysterious Giant Spider. The enigmatic creature known as Jabberfopi or the Congal's giant spider is a species of giant arachnid, yet to be officially recognized by science. It is said to reach the size of a fully grown human, and is believed by some to be a living descendant of prehistoric spiders that once roamed the earth, surviving into the present day. While many large spider species have been reported throughout Africa, it seems that only in the Congo do local tribes such as the Baka speak of the Jbar-Fi, describing it as having a leg span of up to 4 feet. Interest in this mysterious spider began to grow after a wave of reports surfaced from across Africa, telling of giant spiders appearing at various times of the year. One of the earliest documented encounters took place in the 1890s when an English missionary arrived in Uganda and discovered an enormous web near Lake Nyasa. He recounted how, as the group approached to investigate the web stretched between 2 large trees, several members became ensnared in the sticky silk. They reported that spiders with legs longer than 4 feet began to emerge, biting the trapped men. Later expeditions in 1938 led researchers to consult with indigenous tribes in the Congo who described the Congal's giant spider as having a leg span reaching nearly 4 feet, laying thousands of eggs the size of peanuts, and often nesting near villages to hunt birds, large animals, and even humans. Another notable encounter was reported by Lloyd and his wife while they were traveling through the Congo. As they drove along a dirt road, they saw a large creature dart across their path. First, they thought it was a monkey due to its size, but as they drew closer, they were stunned to realize it was an enormous spider. As more and more strange reports emerged from the Congo, researchers began to see the country as a kind of lost world filled with inexplicable phenomena and encounters that bordered on the supernatural. The entire nation seems to be cloaked in legends of bizarre creatures and tales reminiscent of a prehistoric age, including claims that dinosaur-like beasts still roam the densest reaches of the Congo jungle. When early explorers trekked through these regions, local tribes would warn them about giant men-in spiders. They advised the outsiders that if they ever came across massive webs, the best course of action was to leave the area immediately, as it was a sure sign that the Congo's giant spiders were nearby. One tribe even described how these spiders could leap from tree to tree, and despite their bright colors were remarkably hard to spot amid the lush green of the rainforest. The locals added that the spiders built mound-like nests, warning that anyone who came across one should steer well clear. Researcher William Gibbons also had an encounter with accounts of this mysterious creature. The naturalist explained that during his expedition to search for Machel-Meeb, he and his team met locals who shared their experiences with giant spiders. Stunned by what he heard, Gibbons was eager to report the stories. Upon returning to Canada, he wrote, "On my third expedition to Equatorial Africa, I took the opportunity to ask the Pygmies if they knew of such a giant spider. And indeed, they did. They call it the great or giant spider. They described it as generally brown in color with a purple abdomen, and said it could reach a leg span of at least 5 feet. These giant spiders weave together leaves to form a layer similar in shape to a traditional pygmy hut. Then spin a remarkably strong circular web between 2 trees with one strand stretched across a game trail. These ground-dwelling giants prey on forest antelope, birds, and other small animals and are said to be extremely dangerous, not to mention highly venomous." Although his team did not see a giant spider with their own eyes, he reported that the locals warned them about the area and advised them to remain on high alert. William believed the villagers were telling the truth about what they had seen, noting that when the subject of these spiders came up, some locals even seemed afraid. There has been much debate about whether such a creature could exist. Spiders belong to a group of animals called arthropods, which also includes insects, crustaceans, and centipedes. One key factor that limits the size of aeropods, including spiders, is the way they breathe. Aeropods possess a respiratory system consisting of a network of tubes that deliver oxygen directly to their cells. This system works well for small animals, but as the creature grows larger, these tracheal tubes become less efficient at transporting oxygen throughout the body since gas diffusion is less effective over long distances, making it difficult for oxygen to reach cells deep inside. For this reason, larger aeropods such as crabs and lobsters have gills or other more complex respiratory structures. Spiders, however, lack these advanced adaptations, meaning their size is limited by their ability to absorb oxygen through their tracheal system. Another factor that constrains the size of spiders is their exoskeleton, which provides support and protection for their bodies. As spiders grow, they must mole or shed their old exoskeleton to continue growing. But the bigger a spider gets, the more difficult and hazardous molting becomes. As the exoskeleton grows thicker and harder to shed, this process too puts a cap on just how large a spider can become. some of the largest spider species alive today, like the Goliath bird-eater and the huntsman spider, have a maximum leg span of about 12 in. However, if not for these biological limitations, some scientists suggest that spiders could theoretically reach the size of a small dog, with leg spans of up to 2 m. The mystery of Kasai Rex. Deep in the wild Kasai Valley of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, tales of a giant predatory beast, resembling a dinosaur, have long captured the imagination of both locals and explorers alike. This mysterious creature is known as Kasai Rex, described as a massive, powerful, thick-legged dinosaur as large as a Tyrannosaurus rex, appearing along the swamps and sweeping grasslands with an aura that dominates all other living things. Accounts of Kasrex consistently match the image of a giant carnivorous dinosaur. Its skin is said to be rough and scaly, reddish-brown or striped with black, adding to its fearsome appearance and making Kasrex one of the most famous mysteries of the African continent. The most famous encounter with Kasai Rex occurred in 1932 and involved a Swedish hunter named John Johnson. According to Johnson's later account, he and his servant left a camp near Cape Town to hunt big game. After crossing the swamps, they entered the Kasai savanna. What struck them as odd was the landscape itself. There were only 2 solitary elephants in the distance, whereas elephants usually traveled in large herds. As Johnson and his servant watched, they noticed something lurking in the brush. Suddenly, an enormous creature burst forth. Panicked, Johnson raised his hunting rifle and fired 3 times, believing one shot hit the creature's flank and forced it to retreat. His servant was so terrified that he hid in the tall grass and only returned when the 2 men headed back to camp. However, as they were crossing the swamp on their return, they encountered the creature once again. A loud commotion in the water caught their attention. First, Johnson thought it was a crocodile, but then realized it was the very beast they had seen earlier, now feasting on a rhinoceros. With a single bite, the creature snapped the rhino's leg. Johnson's servant panicked and fled, clutching the rifle. In desperation, Johnson grabbed his camera and managed to snap a picture just as the animal slipped beneath the surface in response to the camera's noise. The rhino's carcass floated in a pool of blood as the monster vanished into the muddy water. When Johnson returned to camp, he was still in shock. It's said that he collapsed upon arrival, still clutching the camera with the single photograph capturing the creature's image. In an interview with the Rhodesia Herald, Johnson described the beast in great detail. Reddish skin with black stripes, an incredibly massive body seemingly built for high-speed pursuit. He estimated its length at around 13 m, and concluded the only explanation was a living Tyrannosaurus. Notably, Johnson remarked that the creature's limbs looked remarkably like a lion's, allowing it to move with surprising speed. The following year in 1933, a group of 5 hunters, including a well-known ivory trader, traveled to the Kasai Valley, determined to hunt or capture the creature Johnson had described. Contemporary reports say they were drawn by the potential value of the monster's hide, believing it would fetch a fortune on the black market. As they crossed the same swamp Johnson had traversed, they glimpsed a bright red tail disappearing into the murky water. First, they assumed it was a giant python, but tension reached a fever pitch when a thunderous sound erupted and the red tail lashed out, knocking one of the hunters into the swamp. The others fired wildly at the spot where the creature had vanished. As the injured man struggled to crawl back, a strange noise sounded from beneath the water. The hunters hid behind a large rock and eventually decided to retreat. never to return. These encounters became the foundation of the Kasai Rex legend. While mainstream scientists remain skeptical, the details in these reports continue to attract the interest of researchers. The idea of a living carnivorous dinosaur surviving to the present day is highly controversial, but not without precedent in other famous legends such as Machombe. Additionally, researchers have pointed out that many areas of the Congo basin remain pristine and virtually unexplored. This isolation makes it theoretically possible for unknown species to exist. Supporters of the Casrex hypothesis believe that what Johnson and the hunters saw was a surviving member of an ancient dinosaur lineage, or perhaps a descendant that evolved to adapt to the modern world. Of course, skeptics argue that this is simply a case of mistaken identity, or a legend that has grown with retelling over time. Still, the photograph Johnson took stands as a piece of evidence for the possible existence of Kasai Rex. The mystery of Tsong Amato. In the subtropical regions of Central Africa, a mysterious creature has haunted the oral histories of both local people and explorers for generations. Known as Tsong Amato, this being is often described as a flying reptile that bears a striking resemblance to prehistoric pterosaurs. Sightings of Konga Mato have been reported for many generations, especially in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, while mainstream science has never confirmed its existence. The consistency of these accounts and Kongamato's persistent place in African folklore suggests that it may be more than just legend. The name Tsong Amato means the breaker of boats, reflecting the fear it has instilled in those who claim to have seen it with their own eyes. The most common descriptions refer to bat-like wings made of skin spanning anywhere from 4 to over 7 feet, a long beak filled with sharp teeth, and a distinctly reptilian body. Some reports go further, mentioning glowing red eyes and a piercing shrill cry. Tsong Amato is said to be fiercely aggressive and highly territorial, with countless tales describing it attacking fishermen who ventured too close to its domain. One of the earliest and most well-known references to Tsong Amato appeared in 1925 from a British official who documented his experience in the book In Witchbound Africa. While stationed in northern Rhodesia, Melland interviewed members of the Kundi tribe. They described a flying creature unlike any animal known in the area. Melland was especially struck when he showed them images of prehistoric pterosaurs in a book, and they immediately identified them as Tsong Amato. This recognition came from people completely unfamiliar with Western concepts of paleontology, suggesting that their stories were rooted in direct experience, rather than borrowed legend. Other explorers and missionaries in the early 20th century also contributed to the body of evidence surrounding Tsong Amato, notably during expeditions in Angola. Explorer John Mill recorded similar descriptions of a flying reptilian creature. In one dramatic encounter, a local man approached Mill, showing a wound on his chest and insisting it had been inflicted by Tsong Amato. He recounted the incident in detail, describing how the creature swooped down from above with incredible force. Though there was no physical evidence apart from the wound, the specificity and conviction of his story left a strong impression on the explorers. Skeptics argue that these sightings are merely cases of mistaken identity involving large birds. Yet local people who are intimately familiar with the region's wildlife firmly maintain that Tsong Amato is completely different from any known species. The rainforests and swamps of Central Africa remain among the least studied ecosystems on Earth, and the remoteness of these habitats creates ideal conditions for a large creature to persist undetected for generations. Recent discoveries in paleontology have also renewed interest in the idea of living prehistoric lineages. Some fossils suggest that flying reptiles were more diverse and better adapted than previously thought. Meanwhile, New animal species are continuously being found in isolated ecosystems across the world. While there has never been any physical evidence of Congo, the possibility that it is a surviving descendant of ancient flying reptiles cannot be entirely dismissed. If such a creature were ever verified, it would be one of the most extraordinary discoveries in modern biology. The existence of a living pterosaur would upend our understanding of evolution and force us to reconsider the entire timeline of extinction events. It would also offer new insights into the ability of species to survive in isolated environments over millions of years. Emila Mlintuka, also known as the killer of elephants or the giant monster, is a legendary creature said to inhabit the dense rainforests of Central Africa, primarily in the Republic of Congo. This animal is described as a large semi-aquatic reptile with a massive armored body, a long neck, and a single horn protruding from its forehead. It is believed to be extremely aggressive and fiercely territorial, reportedly attacking any creature that enters its domain, including elephants. According to local legend, Mlintuka is most often spotted near rivers or water sources, which suggests it may be a semi-aquatic species. Some reports even claim that the creature emits a distinctive roar or bellow that can be heard from a great distance. Those who have allegedly seen it consistently describe an animal that looks remarkably similar to a triceratops. Interestingly, when shown pictures, the local tribes of the Congo all agreed that the creature they knew resembled a triceratops. Gathering evidence of this beast has proven exceptionally difficult. The indigenous tribes of the Congo region insist that it is both fierce and fearless. One of the most recent reported sightings took place in Kenya. Although many experts believe that if Mlintuka ever existed, it has long since gone extinct. Notably, the tribes recount that one of the last surviving individuals was killed in the 1930s. They say that a man took the horn from the creature's remains and still keeps it to this day, although he refuses to come forward for fear that the artifact will be confiscated. Mlintuka is said to be highly aggressive and has reportedly been witnessed attacking local wildlife. People in the Congo have described seeing it take down fully grown elephants, noting that the elephants are powerless against its massive horn. The tribes also say that you won't find large animals in areas where the creature lives since all the wildlife in the region is terrified of it. For centuries, stories of Mlintuka have been passed down through generations of local people, and some believe it may be a surviving species of dinosaur or prehistoric reptile. However, to this day, no physical evidence has been found to confirm the creature's existence. The 50-foot Congo snake. One of the most astonishing encounters with the mysterious creature is the story of Colonel Remy van Liarda in 1959. While the Belgian Air Force was stationed in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Colonel Remy van Liarda made a shocking discovery as he flew over the Congo's tropical rainforest. There were 3 people on that flight: the colonel himself, pilot, and a photographer. As they were conducting reconnaissance over the dense jungle en route to another military base, they suddenly stumbled upon something extraordinary. The colonel spotted what appeared to be a giant snake over 50 feet in length, its body rising more than 10 feet off the ground. He immediately instructed the pilot to circle back so they could capture clearer photographs. The team hovered in the air, snapping pictures until they realized they were dangerously close within striking distance of the enormous serpent. The photographs they captured were impressive and matched the colonel's description exactly. Remarkably, experts who have studied both the photos and the area of the sighting confirmed that this was not the first report of a giant snake in the Congo, and some have even speculated that it could have been a titanoboa. Titanoboa is an extinct genus of giant snake that lived during the Paleocene epoch around 60 to 58 million years ago. Its name literally means Titanic boa, which is fitting as it is the largest snake ever discovered. First described in 2009 from fossils unearthed in the Cerrejón Formation of Colombia. The snake was estimated to be between 44 and 50 feet long and weighed approximately 500 pounds. Its body was about a meter wide with a head nearly 2 feet in length. This giant serpent thrived in a hot, humid environment with average temperatures around 30 degrees Celsius. Titanoboa was a constrictor capable of preying on large animals, such as crocodiles and turtles, thanks to its immense strength and formidable size. Scientists also believe that Titanoboa could regulate its body temperature much like modern snakes, which would have given it a significant advantage in its ecosystem. The discovery of this creature has helped researchers better understand the evolution of snakes and ancient ecosystems. It has also sparked the imagination of the public, with many fascinated by the idea that a giant snake once ruled the earth. Titanoboa was able to reach such tremendous sizes thanks to the ideal environmental conditions of the Paleocene epoch, roughly 66 million years ago. At that time, Earth was much warmer and oxygen levels were higher than they are today, providing optimal conditions for snakes to thrive and grow. The elevated temperatures supported a higher metabolic rate, allowing the snake to eat more and grow faster. At the same time, the increased oxygen content made it easier for the animal to breathe and reach massive proportions. Some studies suggest that Titanoboa could grow up to 50 feet long and weigh more than a ton. It also evolved unique physical traits to adapt to its environment, including a wide, flat head with large teeth for consuming big prey, and a flexible spine that aided in efficient movement both on land and in water. These adaptations, combined with favorable environmental conditions, made Titanoboa one of the largest snakes to have ever existed. This giant snake went extinct alongside many other massive animals during the Paleocene AOC thermal maximum, about 56 million years ago. During this period, Earth's temperature spiked, causing dramatic changes in climate and environment. It is believed that the extinction of Titanoboa and other giant creatures was due to a combination of factors, including shifts in temperature, rainfall, and available food sources. The warming event led to a drop in atmospheric oxygen, making it harder for large animals to survive. Climate change also transformed habitats and depleted food sources, making life even more challenging for these giants. What's remarkable is that this was not the first time explorers had reported sightings of a giant snake, leading some researchers to suggest that perhaps a small population of these enormous reptiles still lurks within the unexplored depths of the Congo jungle. Ghost shipwrecks drifting on the Congo River. Hidden beneath the enchanting and peaceful beauty of the Congo River is a dark mystery that has remained unsolved for centuries. In certain stretches of the river, especially at treacherous bends shrouded by dense jungle, people have discovered numerous unmanned ghost ships drifting along, while their entire crews have vanished under mysterious circumstances. These stories have been passed down by local residents and Western expeditions alike from the 19th century, right up to the present day. In 1895, a steamboat called the Queen of Congo was reported missing under strange circumstances while carrying valuable cargo through a section of the river near Stanley Pool. When rescue teams arrived, all they found was an empty ship, sails still full, but not a soul on board. There were no signs of struggle, as if the entire crew had simply vanished into thin air. In 1933, a local fishing vessel also disappeared in baffling fashion near the treacherous waters known as the Devil's Bend after several weeks of searching. Villagers found the boat still intact, drifting on the river, but all 7 crew members were gone. The strangest detail was that their meal was left unfinished. as if the crew had just left the table moments before the boat was discovered. The tales of the locals only make the mystery more chilling. They believe these stretches of river are the domain of water spirits where supernatural beings lurk beneath the dark surface, ready to drag unlucky sailors down to the depths without leaving a single trace. Researchers have offered a range of theories in an attempt to explain these phenomena. Some scientists believe the cause might be natural occurrences, such as extremely strong whirlpools that sweep people off the ships and into the river. Other theories lean toward attacks by wild animals or even acts of piracy. However, no explanation has proven entirely satisfactory when it comes to how entire crews could disappear so completely, leaving behind no clear evidence or trace. The sacred talking trees. Deep in the Congo's dense rainforest, where the trees grow in tangled profusion, there exist strange legends about ancient giant trees that can speak to humans. These trees are revered by local tribes as sacred beings believed to house ancestral spirits and capable of producing mysterious sounds or whispering answers to the shaman's questions during ancient rituals. These stories have lived for hundreds of years in the region's folklore. Locals call them sacred trees and believe that only the most skilled shamans can communicate with them through special ceremonies. During harvest prayers, the shaman stands before the massive trunk, asks questions with solemn words, and waits for answers to emerge from deep within the tree itself. According to the tales, the sounds from the sacred trees are varied, sometimes soft whispers, other times clear echoes like human speech. Some who have attended the rituals claim they have felt the ancient tree move gently as if nodding in agreement or shaking in refusal. In 1954, French anthropologist Jacques Delacroix witnessed one of these sacred tree communication rituals in a small Congolese village. In his notes, he described how when the shaman asked about the harvest and impending disasters, a low but distinct murmuring suddenly arose from the tree's trunk. Delacroix could not explain the phenomenon and returned to France amazed. Scientists have proposed several hypotheses to account for these strange events. They suggest that the odd sounds might be caused by natural movements inside the tree, the flow of sap, or air pressure shifting through cracks in the ancient wood. Yet even these scientific explanations fail to account for why the noises seem to respond precisely and in sync with the ritual questions. The vengeful spirits of ancient warriors. In the dense darkness that blankets the remote villages of Congo, locals still tell chilling tales of the spirits of ancient warriors returning from the world beyond. These ghosts are said to be filled with resentment and a thirst for vengeance, frequently appearing at sites that once witnessed war or bloody battles in the distant past. The elders in the villages recount that when night falls, they sometimes hear heavy footsteps and low, angry whispers echoing from the edges of the forest or from open fields where fierce fighting once took place. Times, villagers have glimpsed vague, shadowy figures clad in armor or wielding ancient weapons, moving slowly as if searching for something left unresolved in the past. One of the most famous stories centers on a village in the Kasai region, the site of a brutal battle between two tribes in the early 19th century. The villagers believe that the spirits of fallen warriors have never truly found peace, and that each year on the night of the August full moon, these spirits return to remind future generations of the suffering that once occurred there. In 1989, British ethnologist Henry Walker spent time in this village during a field study. In his diary, he described an unsettling night, the sound of clashing metal, the shouts of warriors, even the unmistakable pounding of horse hooves. Yet when he ran outside, he found only a thick fog blanketing the area. Later, the villagers explained that he had just witnessed the vengeful spirits of ancient warriors. Modern researchers suggest that such stories may reflect a blend of local folklore, and the collective memory of historical tragedies. However, scientific explanations have yet to fully clarify why so many people, even outsiders like Walker, have had such eerily similar and inexplicable experiences. Mahamba, believed to be a surviving member of an ancient dinosaur species. Mahamba is described as a gigantic crocodile stretching up to 50 feet in length with elongated forelimbs and hind limbs that enable it to run at speeds surpassing that of a human. According to legend and local folklore, this creature typically floats on river surfaces like a crocodile, lurking just below the water, waiting for large animals or boats to pass overhead. There have even been reports of Mahamba swallowing entire canoes whole and launching itself onto land to attack and devour passing groups of people. The local people believe that Mahamba preys on other monsters and dinosaurs in the region, usually residing in the deep waters that wind through the rainforest. However, little is known about Mahamba's habits, as the tribes say that very few, if any, survivors lived to tell the tale after an encounter. The last recorded sighting of Mahamba was in 1930, and since then, there have been no further reports, despite nearly a century passing without another encounter. The tribes continue to avoid and refuse to set foot in the forested areas where they believe Mahamba may appear, the fear lingering to this day. Some have even theorized that Mahamba could in fact be a surviving Deinosuchus. Deinosuchus is an extinct genus of giant crocodilian that lived during the late Cretaceous period about 73 to 82 million years ago. It was one of the largest crocodilians ever to have existed, with some individuals estimated to have reached lengths of up to 40 feet and weights of around 8,000 lb. Deinosuchus possessed a broad elongated skull with powerful jaws lined with massive teeth designed for crushing and gripping prey. Its bite force was so formidable that it could bring down even the largest prey such as dinosaurs, ambushing them at the water's edge. Some of its teeth could reach up to 6 in length. This colossal reptile lived in freshwater environments, preying on dinosaurs as well as other animals like turtles and fish. Its range extended from what is now Montana and South Dakota in the United States down to northern Mexico. The name Deinosuchus means terrible crocodile in Greek, a name it truly lived up to with its tremendous size and bone-crushing power. Deinosuchus was one of the most formidable predators of the late Cretaceous ecosystem. Deinosuchus was able to grow so massive due to several factors. Firstly, the late Cretaceous was a much warmer era with higher atmospheric oxygen levels that allowed animals to thrive and reach impressive sizes. In addition, Deinosuchus had an extraordinarily powerful bite capable of exerting forces up to 2,300 size, strong enough to crush dinosaur bones and the shells of other large reptiles. Its flat skull and large teeth were unique adaptations that enabled it to prey on the hard-shelled turtles abundant at the time. Altogether, a combination of favorable environmental conditions and distinctive evolutionary traits helped Deinosuchus become one of the largest crocodilians ever known. Like many other giant reptiles of the late Cretaceous, Deinosuchus went extinct about 66 million years ago, at the end of the Cretaceous period. The cause of its extinction remains uncertain, but scientists believe it is connected to the same event that wiped out the dinosaurs: a massive asteroid impact that triggered a global environmental catastrophe, the Mountain of Gold. The entire world was left in awe by the colossal gold reserves discovered in the Republic of Congo. Photographs captured by explorers reveal that this country is home to a mountain literally filled with gold, a testament to the sheer abundance of this land. That dazzling, glittering sight is enough to leave anyone who witnesses it absolutely stunned. Thousands have flocked here to witness this breathtaking spectacle with their own eyes. You can see locals using shovels, pickaxes, and even their bare hands to mine and separate precious fragments of gold from the earth. Anyone who sets foot on this mountain finds themselves wishing for just a small piece to call their own. This only further cements Congo's reputation as a nation rich in resources on the world map. And yet, the paradox remains. Congo is still considered one of the poorest countries in Africa, despite holding on to such an incredibly valuable resource. The local population benefits very little from the treasures of their own homeland. Instead, the majority of the gold ends up in the hands of a select few, fueling ever-growing inequality and deepening the divide between rich and poor. As a result, the local people continue to live in poverty. The poor only get poorer while the rich keep getting richer. Amid the chaos and danger of gold mining activities, the authorities swiftly dispatched police forces to oversee and control the entire mining process. Because of this, all mining operations were suspended, only allowed to resume once new management guidelines were established and strictly adhered to by the local population. Precautionary measures became absolutely necessary to prevent further problems and ensure the safety of both the people and the mining operations. There was even a prophecy that if this mountain of gold wasn't properly controlled, it could one day lead to the end of the world. However, whether or not there's any truth to this remains to be seen, and only time will tell what the future consequences might be. The spine chimpanzee. One of the great mysteries of the jungle is the story of the spine chimpanzee, a mysterious humanoid creature said to have been sighted in various parts of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Some researchers even believe that the spine chimpanzee is an entirely new species unknown to science. This ape is described as large with a broad face and gray fur. Unlike other mysterious creatures that have appeared in legend, the sightings of the spine chimpanzee are quite recent. It is believed that the first encounter occurred in 2000 with reports claiming that a team of U.S. Navy Special Forces came face-to-face with a chimpanzee bearing sharp spines along its back. According to an anonymous naval officer, his unit encountered 13 strange chimpanzees walking upright with a level of aggression far beyond that of ordinary chimpanzees. This group was observed attempting to take down other animals, and the soldiers estimated their height by comparing them to nearby trees to be anywhere from 1.2 to 1.8 m tall. However, their most distinctive feature was a row of sharp spines running along the backbone. Whenever agitated, these spines would stand up straight, much like the quills of a porcupine. Another officer in the group reported that their team managed to film a 3-minute video of these strange animals. But the footage has never been released and remains classified as a military secret. The precise location of the encounter was not revealed, but many believe it took place near Lake Tangana in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The spine chimpanzee is one of the strangest creatures ever reported, and many researchers believe the Congo rainforest still conceals hundreds of undiscovered species. The spine chimpanzee could be a new species with extremely limited numbers, and may even be extinct by now. Some people link it to the billy ape, but claim that the key difference lies in the presence of spines. However, it should be remembered that the billy ape was once thought to be mythical until scientists proved its existence after decades of skepticism. Many believe that the same could very well be true for the spine chimpanzee. With much of Congo still unexplored, it is entirely possible that somewhere out there is an ape that matches these unique descriptions. The mystery of the ayak, hidden deep within the vast uncharted rainforests of Congo. Stories of a mysterious humanoid creature called the ayak have been passed down for generations. This elusive being is said to stand anywhere from 60 centimeters to 1.5 m tall, possessing features that are part human and part primate, yet not fully belonging to any group. with long arms and rust gold fur. The ayak has attracted the curiosity of both researchers and local communities. It is spoken of with a blend of respect and caution as people here consider it the guardian spirit of the jungle. The ayak is typically described as a small human-like creature. Eyewitnesses often emphasize its long lanky arms that hang well past its knees, a trait reminiscent of apes and other primates. Its body is covered in reddish fur, which allows it to blend perfectly into its surroundings. The creature moves with agility and can disappear into dense vegetation the moment it is spotted. It appears shy and generally avoids humans, but is sometimes seen quietly observing from a distance. These behaviors suggest that the ayak possesses intelligence and awareness far beyond ordinary forest animals. One of the reasons ago remains a topic of serious discussion is the consistency among eyewitness accounts throughout the last century. In the early 20th century, British officer William Hitchens was one of the first outsiders to document an encounter with the ayak. During a hunting trip in East Africa in the 1930s, he spotted a small red-furred creature darting through the forest. Hitchens recalled that it walked upright with a form similar to a human's, though clearly not a person. Local guides told him that the creature existed, but was incredibly rare. One might only see it once or twice in a lifetime. Fever. Interestingly, just a year after Hitchens's account, another British officer, Cuthbert Burgoyne, revealed that he too had encountered two similar creatures in 1927. According to his report, while observing a troop of baboons feeding near the grasslands, he saw two strange small humanoid figures emerge from the bushes. Their confidence and ease around the baboons suggested familiarity, perhaps even kinship, though Burgoyne watched from a distance and could not see details clearly. His description matched Hitchens almost exactly. These historical reports have never faded into obscurity. In modern times, similar encounters are still reported from the same region. In 2017, a research group led by Dr. Samuel Boscombe entered the Congo rainforest to search for rare species. They recounted catching a fleeting glimpse of a small creature that matched long-standing descriptions of the ayak, though unable to capture a photograph. The researchers noted that its physical traits and behavior corresponded closely with both historic accounts and local legend. For Congo's indigenous communities, the ayak is more than just legend. In their oral traditions, the creature is often depicted as a guardian spirit of the forest. Locals recount stories in which the ayak helped lost hunters find their way home, or warned villages of approaching natural dangers. These tales imbue the ayak with spiritual significance. More and more voices suggest that the ayak could be a remnant of an ancient human lineage, or an undiscovered primate species. Some scientists and researchers propose that it represents a branch of evolution thought to have gone extinct long ago. The wild, untamed terrain of Congo has created the perfect hiding place for such a mysterious being. Vast areas of this region remain untouched by modern science. Like so many other mysterious creatures, the greatest challenge in proving the ayak's existence is the lack of physical evidence. Yet the consistency of the stories, the cultural weight of the legend, and the reliability of historical reports continue to sustain this mystery. With the development of non-invasive technologies like remote sensors, the possibility of gathering more definitive evidence in the future is entirely within reach. The mischievous monkeys of Bill Forest. The global scientific community was truly stunned to learn that a revolution in evolution had emerged right in the heart of Congo's Bill Forest. For generations, humanity has been intrigued by the elusive piece that might connect us to our closest primate relatives. While it is widely known that humans and apes share a common ancestor, the gulf between the two species has remained an unsolved puzzle. confounding scientists for centuries. Some believe that mysterious creatures like the Yeti or Bigfoot could represent that missing link. Yet from deep within Congo's dense, tangled jungle, a new secret has emerged that may hold the key to humanity's evolutionary past. In this isolated forest, chimpanzees have developed an astonishingly advanced civilization, a phenomenon confirmed through multiple expeditions and reinforced by local legend. For example, these chimpanzees frequently build nests right on the ground to trap giant African snails, which they devour with a voracious appetite, and are even known to hunt leopards for meat. Rarely anywhere else on Earth can you find such a high density of chimpanzees, further confounding and astonishing researchers. However, the Congolese chimpanzees, known as the billy apes, shatter every expectation. They are known to launch ferocious attacks on intruders who trespass into their territory, exhibiting a level of aggression far surpassing that of any other primate. Local tales even claim that not even lions can match their power. Smaller animals are coldly torn apart and eaten alive. These observations have left scientists both amazed and deeply perplexed. It remains unclear whether the billy apes are gorillas, chimpanzees, or some strange hybrid between the two. Skulls collected from the area reveal genetic traits from both species, as if billy represents the missing link between humans and our primate ancestors. The scientific community is electrified with excitement and curiosity, believing that the Bill Forest may hold the answer to one of the greatest mysteries in human evolutionary history: the dingo neck. Since the 20th century, this bizarre creature has been spoken of. Dingerneck is one of the strange beasts encountered by explorers venturing deep into the tropical rainforest, earning it the nickname the walrus of the deep jungle. Ding has a body covered in scales, saber-like fangs, and a tail resembling a scorpion stinger. It is utterly terrifying, willing to attack both animals and humans. Its length is estimated to be between 11.5 and 15 feet. It has a square head with two massive tusks and a long rigid bandage-like tail protruding from the top of its head. Its skin is both scaly and mottled like a leopard. Dingerneck can secrete a potent toxin, and its entire body is shielded by a thick armor-like layer of scales. John Jordan was the first to document this animal in 1907, describing its unusual neck, though his claims were initially met with skepticism. However, one day while hunting, a group of hunters called him to the riverbank, insisting that they had just seen the monster there. They described it as a beast that was part whale, part leopard. No one could say exactly what it was. They recounted that it had massive claws for grabbing and killing its prey. Jordan was so frightened that he fired an elephant gun at the creature's neck, but it immediately leapt from the water and vanished into the dense forest. Jordan and his expedition searched for 2 days, yet they could find no trace. He was left wondering what kind of animal could survive such a deadly shot. To this day, research into this mysterious monster remains far from over. The unexplained strange sound. For a long time, both scientists and local people have been mystified by a baffling phenomenon. Somewhere in the depths of Congo's rainforest, there are always strange otherworldly sounds echoing from some creature, or perhaps something else entirely unknown. This phenomenon is marked by booming, spine-chilling noises that seem to resonate from every direction. There are low rumbling tones so deep and powerful they drown out all other sounds, mixed with ear-piercing screams that slice through the wilderness. These noises send chills down the spine of anyone who hears them. Countless theories have been proposed to explain the source of these bewildering sounds. Some attribute them to geological activity, possibly the shifting of tectonic plates beneath the Earth's surface. Others suspect these might be the result of unusual atmospheric phenomena, or even top-secret military experiments in the area. One compelling theory holds that these noises are the cries of unknown creatures, species that have never been documented, trapped deep within the harsh wild reaches of Congo. It's possible these species have remained isolated and have never been seen by humans. But with the impenetrable vegetation and immense scale of the jungle, pinpointing the exact origin of the sounds is almost impossible. Adventurers seeking the truth must face untold dangers. But without such risks, the mystery may never be solved. There are also those who believe in supernatural explanations, suggesting these are the voices of spirits or entities from beyond this world. Whatever the case, the sounds themselves are truly terrifying, and to this day, their source remains unidentified. Even within the scientific community, there is no consensus, as no one can pinpoint the precise location of these echoes. Perhaps as researchers continue to unravel the secrets of Congo's rainforest, these mysteries will one day come to light. Kari. The story of the Okapi is a blend of African legend and scientific exploration, opening a new chapter on a mysterious creature once known as the forest giraffe. Since the late 19th century, European explorers had been fascinated by tales of a horse-like animal dwelling deep in the jungle. It wasn't until the early 20th century that British explorer Henry confirmed the existence of the Okapi. After countless efforts, local rangers and explorer John finally found conclusive evidence of the Okapi in 1902, including its hide and skull. This discovery sent shockwaves not only through the scientific community, but also to the general public, especially when people saw the Okapi's coat adorned with zebra-like stripes, sparking widespread curiosity and fascination. One of the main reasons for the Okapi's enduring mystery is its unique appearance and its instinct to live in herds. This fueled many folk legends surrounding the animal. The discovery of the Okapi revealed to the world the remarkable biodiversity of Congo, a land renowned for its array of extraordinary creatures. Immediately afterward, zoologists set out to further study the Okapi's behavior, habitat, and evolutionary history. To protect this newly discovered animal, the Okapi Wildlife Reserve was established in the northeast of the Democratic Republic of Congo, providing a safe haven for okapis and emphasizing the critical importance of conservation efforts. The Okapi's journey from legend to scientific fact proves that research and discovery are the keys to unlocking the mysteries of the natural world. To this day, scientists continue to learn more about this incredible creature. The mystery of Kalenoro. Deep within the dense jungles and rugged terrain of Congo, stories have long circulated about a mysterious creature known as Kalenoro. Kalenoro has inspired both local people and foreign explorers across generations. Although few have ever seen this being with their own eyes, belief in its presence remains strong among many Malagasy tribes. In each region, Kalenoro is known by other names such as Koki or Vima, and is always regarded as a spirit of nature closely tied to supernatural phenomena, rather than being viewed as a mere animal. Descriptions of Kalenoro are remarkably consistent. These are small humanoid creatures never standing taller than 60 centimeters. They are often depicted with peculiar features such as hooked fingers, long fingernails, spined backs, and 3 toes that point backward. Their bodies are covered in thick hair. One of their most distinctive traits is the backward-facing feet, which makes tracking them nearly impossible. Those who try to follow Kalenoro's trail often lose their way, as the footprints lead in the opposite direction from where the creature is actually moving. Despite their tiny size, Kalenoro are believed to possess extraordinary strength and magical powers. According to local legend, Their long hair is the source of their supernatural abilities. Some shamans in Madagascar even claim that Kalenoro hair can be ground into powder and used to make magical medicines. These remedies are said to grant mystical power and spiritual protection to those who use them. In addition, certain shamans are believed to serve as intermediaries who can communicate with the spirit of Kalenoro, either to heal the sick or to convey messages for those who come to seek guidance. Encounters with Kalenoro have appeared in Madagascar's legends for centuries. Some of the earliest tales claim that Kalenoro lived on the island for more than 2,000 years, predating the arrival of the first humans. When the first tribes migrated to Madagascar, they too recorded meetings with this being. Many ethnic groups on the island, including the Antakarana and Simiheti, still share stories of Kalenoro dwelling in caves. Its diet is simple and entirely natural, mainly fresh seafood and grains. In some stories, Kalenoro has been spotted wandering near villages at night in search of food. However, they are not always harmless. Some legends tell of Kalenoro abducting children who wander too far into the forest, although most of these children are eventually returned safely, often after villagers make offerings to the creature. One of the most detailed modern observations comes from a man named Eloy, who claimed to have seen a Kalenoro in the rice fields beyond his village. He described it as a hairy little person with long fingernails standing less than a meter tall and moving rapidly across the field. According to local law, the scent of roasted pistachios is irresistible to Kalenoro, and people have sometimes used this trick to lure them out, though no one has ever managed to catch one. There have even been attempts to officially document Kalenoro throughout history. In 1889, the Royal Geographical Society of Britain received a report of a supposed capture of a Kalenoro. In 1924, the explorer Chase Salmon Osborne recounted witnessing a pair of Kalenoro by a campfire. He described them as two hairy dwarves affectionately interacting. Though these stories are vivid, they are often met with skepticism. What makes Kalenoro endlessly fascinating is the remarkable consistency in its legends across generations. Whether viewed as a guardian spirit, a miraculous creature of the forest, or simply an undiscovered primate, Kalenoro remains at the boundary between myth and reality in the consciousness of the Malagasy people. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.